Yo, what's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and trade season is officially a go. So we had a couple of interesting trades this weekend. We already talked about that. We've already talked on our live stream. If you guys haven't checked that out, we've talked about some of the trades that could be coming. I've actually predicted a couple of these trades, so stay tuned. We have a couple of videos here talking about some of the trade action that happened today. A lot of stuff went on, and we're starting off with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, obviously, the Maple Leafs are going for it this year, and they've made it quite clear to the National Hockey League that they are going for it all. They're going for all the meat and potatoes this year. They made a couple of pretty seismic trades. Some of the trades had to be made, though, in order to facilitate the next trade they would make. So there's a lot of stuff to go over, and we're going to take a look at that right now. So we're going to start off with the trade that happened the other day. The Toronto Maple Leafs acquire Jake McCabe, Sam Lafferty, a 2024 and 2025 fifth-round draft picks. They're both conditional draft picks. The Chicago Blackhawks receive Joey Anderson, Pavel Gogolev, a 2025 conditional first-round pick, and a 2026 sixth-round pick, or second-round pick. Overall, a pretty good trade for both sides, right? The Blackhawks are able to package up two of their guys that are pending UFAs and able to get a first, a second, and a prospect in Gogolev out of it, and a depth NHL player, right? And probably a minor leaguer in Joey Anderson. So that's what the Blackhawks pick up. And of course, for the Leafs, they win in this deal too. They pick up another guy to play in that bottom six, and they pick up Jake McCabe, who, considering the move that Tampa made the other day, and we also have a video on that, making the Tanner Jeannot trade, this is potentially the third pairing defenseman that will be playing against Tanner Jeannot in the first round of the playoffs. So in that sense, the Leafs are able to upgrade their bottom six as well as their third pairing defense. This is a great trade for the Leafs in the sense they are going for it this year. They do not have a first round pick. They've traded all their prospects that they were willing to move at the very least. They still have Matthew Knies. They still have Nick Abruzzese. But other players were unfortunately not so lucky, and we will get to that now. So it's been quiet for the Leafs, and it didn't look like anything was really going to happen after that trade. And if you thought that, you were completely wrong. Now, the first trade is kind of interesting. It's a deal with the Washington Capitals. The Washington Capitals acquire defenseman Rasmus Sandin. In exchange, the Toronto Maple Leafs acquire defenseman Erik Gustafsson, who is a UFA this summer, and a 2023 first-round pick, which is the Boston Bruins pick that the Bruins gave for Dmitry Orlov last week. So the Leafs recoup a first-round pick in this deal. They pick up a pending UFA defenseman in Erik Gustafsson. And I've talked about this before, that the Capitals are going down their list. They started with Strome. They started with Milano. They got those guys locked up. Now they're moving down. All right, does Orlov want to stay? Nope, he's traded. Gustafsson, do you want to stay? No extension? Okay, trade. And now Trevor Van Riemsdyk is the next guy to watch there in Washington, so stay tuned. So Rasmus Sandin goes to the Capitals. I know Leaf fans have not been a fan of Sandin here recently, but I have to say, I'm a little shocked they made this deal mid-season. Maybe something that if they missed the playoffs this summer or didn't have a great playoff run this year, maybe they would move Sandin just to move a guy, but they've decided to go for that now. Interesting move. And again, they're able to get a first-round pick back in exchange, as well as another rental defenseman, and Erik Gustafsson, who from parts of this season has actually been very good for the Washington Capitals. So the other deal that the Leafs made, one of the other two trades that they made, Jake McCabe, Sam Lafferty, so we already talked about that trade, and it's top 10 protected, that pick, in the Joey Anderson deal. Now the Leafs were not done, as they traded forward Pierre Engvall to Lou Lamoriello's New York Islanders for a 2024 third-round pick. So the Leafs recouping assets, trying to move some salary around. A really good deal for the Leafs, honestly, getting a third-round pick for him. I think Pierre Engvall's worth a fourth-round pick, honestly. But they're able to get this guy. The Islanders, he fits in the Islanders system as a good forechecking guy, very, very aggressive. And he happens to wear number 47, which Leo Komarov also wore, and also went to the Islanders. So kind of interesting to see that. But this deal was kind of to lead up to the next deal, which is the last deal that we've seen at this point from the Toronto Maple Leafs, acquiring pending UFA defenseman Luke Schenn for that 2023 third-round pick. So they moved out they brought in a third-round pick, and they moved out a third-round pick. So they are making it quite clear in Toronto that they just completely rebuilt their third pairing defense with Jake McCabe and Luke Schenn coming in. Pretty massive trade in that sense. They also bring in Gustafsson. So you look at the assets that are going out and the assets that have gone in here in the past couple of days. Sam Lafferty, Jake McCabe, Eric Gustafsson, and Luke Schenn. So overall, pretty good week here for Kyle Dubas, and considering the price they gave up, a third-round pick, Pierre Engvall, Rasmus Sandin, another first-round pick, a second-round pick, right? So in that sense, they didn't really do too bad in this deal, and the Leafs have decided they are going all in, right? They made the O'Reilly Achari trade a couple weeks ago. They look at the conference that they're in and what they have to do. This is what we expected, because this is the deadline of the haves and the have-nots. And if you don't have enough roster talent on your team, all the sellers are selling as much as they can and trying to get as many draft picks. Hey, listen, we're not making the playoffs this year. Let's acquire as many draft picks as we can in what is expected to be a really good draft. So it is fire sale for everybody. Everybody's in an arms race, competing with each other. The Leafs are responding to the move that the Bruins made last week. You know, the Islanders are moving because they're trying to add to get better, to try and make this a real playoff run. We saw what the Devils did the other day. The Canucks are getting some moves done. The Rangers bring in another player with Patrick Kane. There's just so much going on here. And the Leafs, Kyle Dubas has made a couple of trades today, a couple of trades here over the past couple of weeks that everybody complains Kyle Dubas doesn't do what it takes. He doesn't bring in the right players. Well, listen, you cannot deny he is trying right now. And he knows if this team doesn't get past the first round this year, or potentially even further, he's not going to see through any of these first round, second round, third, fourth, fifth round picks in the future because he's no longer going to be there. So he is putting everything on the table this year. Very gutsy, very ballsy move here by Kyle Dubas, some of these trades. This is a guy I've given a lot of heat in the past, but the Leafs are all in. And can they still beat the Bruins? Can they still beat the Lightning? Can they beat the best team that comes out of the Metro or the Western Conference? It's still to be determined. That's why they play the playoff games. But the Leafs right now, guys, ladies and gentlemen, this is a really, really exciting playoff run in store for the Leafs. So we'll see what happens. Overall, I think the Leafs won pretty much all the deals. And you know what? The only way they truly, truly win all these deals is if they have a Stanley Cup in Toronto this summer. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What do you guys think of the Toronto Maple Leafs? Stay tuned for some of my other videos I'll be posting here throughout the night and into tomorrow because goodness, a lot of stuff has been going on. And make sure to check out our live stream on Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern for the NHL trade deadline. If there's going to be anything to even talk about at that point, we're probably going to be talking about a lot of trades like this. But if you would like, make sure to stay tuned for that because it's going to be kind of fun on our live stream during the day on Friday. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.